Assalamu alaikum and hello everyone, wherever you are in the world, whether you're here in the UAE or in the UK, Europe, South America. I know there's a few of us joining from there, Canada, US. Welcome to Regent International School. My name is Jason King. I'm the principal here, and I'm really privileged to have this opportunity this morning just to talk to you a little bit about our school here, but also about how you as a parent choose the right school for your child when you're moving countries, particularly in this time where it's a very transitional world that we're living in. I'm wearing a mask today, not just to sort of avoid you seeing my face. It's not that scary really, but just in the UAE at the moment, it's compulsory to wear masks inside, particularly when, and I have some of the camera crew here with me today, so just to make sure that we continue to be safe and abiding by all the health and safety recommendations that we are currently doing in the UAE. So that's why I'm wearing my mask today, but I'm here to talk to you about and try and help you, and thank you for signing up, but also thank you for many questions that have come through to us about the school, but also about how making that right choice, making that right choice for your child when they do go to school. Many of our families that come into the UAE are coming from a variety of different countries, sometimes come here for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 20 years, and it's trying to find that right school to be able to do that. So at Regent, we have a fabulous opportunity of learning experience, outstanding progress. There's so much exciting things that are happening here, and I'm going to share some of those things with you this morning. But just to start off with, I'm just going to show you, to give you a bit of an idea about Regent, what the school does look like, before I talk about making that right choice. Here's a little short video that just gives you a little bit of a quick virtual tour of our school here at Regent International School.
Welcome to Regent International School, where we inspire minds and build character. A school that ensures that your child is future ready with the power of positive education. We're excited to introduce you to our world. Let's enter a foundation stage classroom where we help our children learn through play. We are also renovating our early years library to help our young learners enjoy reading their first sentences. Our school has plenty of outdoor play areas to keep our children engaged and active. Now let's enter a primary classroom where you see imagination at play. Our Positive Education Ethos develops skills for academics and personal achievement, as well as well-being, happiness, and character development. We try to make learning fun with activities, so our students love coming to school every single day. When a student enters secondary school, we take the time to understand their needs, passions and potential, and develop them to help them grow. Regent Secondary School is distinguished with a leading edge and highly innovative STEAM and design thinking program to create tomorrow's leaders and thinkers. Our new school library is getting renovated, and we're so excited to use this space to spark our students' imagination. Regent has a thriving performing arts program that inspires expression and creativity. More than anything, Regent is fully committed to the personal welfare of your child and to providing them with a safe, happy and healthy learning environment. Our state-of-the-art sports facilities ensures that our students are ahead of the curve. Regent also has the Regent International nurseries on campus so your younger ones can come to school with their siblings. So come visit us. We can't wait to meet you.
Okay, so hopefully that gives you a little bit of a flavour of the school and I suppose the building really, but what's important to us here at Regent, and I'm going to talk a little bit about this morning, is facilities are one thing, and yes, you do need the right facilities to enhance the children's learning experience, their educational experience during the time that they're in school, but what's really important and what's really valued here at Regent is people, okay? The people, the teachers, the leaders, the parents, the students themselves, actually making sure that the school feels like an extension to your family. And the facilities are there to enhance what's going on in school, but at the root of everything is the people. You know, and you see behind me, you've got some children's work and just walking around the school this morning, which I was doing, you know, just seeing that energy, that hunger for learning, the things that actually you as parents want your children to experience. Yes, you want them to experience and get those high academic standards. You wanted to ensure that they eventually go to top universities around the world. But as part of that journey, it's making sure that they are graduating from any school as a successful young lady and young gentleman, okay, as part of that process, and their character and what makes them tick, okay, and all of those things that are part of that. So I'll go back to my initial sort of question really. It was linked to, you know, how do you as parents choose the right school for your child? And there's 5 things that I always share with parents when they come and visit us here at Regent, is around the curriculum. So first you've got to decide on what curriculum you're actually going to be choosing. Second then is the vision and the leadership of the school, making sure that you can trust those leaders and the teachers that you're putting your children in front of day to day. Thirdly then is the teaching staff. You know, where do they come from? What experience, what qualifications do they have? Then you look at beyond that, okay, what's happening beyond the classroom. So academics are important, but then what else is happening in terms of the community, charity work, leadership opportunities, all of the different sports, music, drama, all of those additional things that are beyond the classroom. And then almost then lastly is the facilities, because ultimately if you're coming here to the United Arab Emirates, there are many schools. I think at the moment there's over 200 private schools here in Dubai, and the majority of them have some excellent facilities. So what makes the difference for you as a parent to choose the right school? And I think you know, starting with the curriculum side of things, obviously Regent International School is a British curriculum school. We are outstanding with British schools of overseas in terms of inspection, and we run from 3 years old, so foundation stage 1, all the way through to year 13 and 18 on to university. We go through GCSEs and IGCSEs here, as well as then A-levels when they come into year 12 and 13. And we also offer a combination of some BTEC programs, more sort of vocational career-related programs for some of our students in terms of trying to find that right pathway. So the curriculum is very structured, very set in line with many British schools that would be in the UK. But importantly, in terms of standards, in terms of what the students look like, in terms of uniform, our manners, respect, all of those things might be quite British in that respect, but actually how we think is very much internationally. And currently here at Regent we have over 80 different nationalities from a wide variety of different needs. And some of the questions that you did send me in earlier linked to the curriculum, you know, how can my child who is 4 or 5 years old has spoken no English, how can they access the British curriculum? The answer is yes. Okay, there's support processes in place within our school and many schools around Dubai and around the world to ensure that your child is supported. And when they are at a very young age, they're like sponges. Okay, they pick up things really quickly. And particularly language side of things. Us as adults, it's much more challenging, okay? But for our children, as long as the right structure's in place and the right scaffolding is in place, they have a great foundation for them to access the curriculum on a number of levels. Here at Regent, as well as our mainstream school, we also have an intensive language program that's running alongside that to support our children in that inclusive environment. And that inclusion side of things is also equally important. Your child might be here, your child might be here, but wherever they are in that journey academically, they are stretched and they are pushed accordingly. Here at Regent, we have group of students, okay, but actually they're treated as individuals in a group, okay. So that personalisation, when a teacher has them in their class, whether there's 10 children in the class, 20 children in a class, ultimately every child is looked at as an individual in terms of their needs and their strengths. So that curriculum is really important as a foundation. And many of you may be out there now thinking, well, what about IB? What about American curriculum compared to the British curriculum? There's obviously, whatever curriculum you decide on, there are differences, but ultimately the expectation at 13, 14, 15, 7 are very similar. And you know, I'd be more than happy to chat to yourselves in terms of some of those differences between different curriculums, as we do here on our personalised tours. That some parents have coming from an IB school, okay, or they may be going from an American school and they're not too sure if the British system will fit their child. So all I can say from my perspective as an educator and experience here in Dubai for 20 years as a leader and as of over 9-10 different schools now, but also looking at how we can actually basically embrace the curriculums across. So it's never too late, okay, to look at a change if you are coming from one country to the next and you're worried about the curriculum. So please, please talk to us about that. But at Regent, we are following the British curriculum specifically. So then, linked to the values, so values side of things. Here at Regent, we're part of a bigger group of schools, Positive Education. We have nurseries as well as one of our other schools, Sun Mark School, and we're continuing now to look at growing our group of schools with the success of both of them. Regent itself is over 26 years old, well established, great reputation in the community, and we're really looking at capitalising on that and looking at our future growth across Dubai and across the world in terms of how we continue to expand. But however, saying all of that, okay, although we're part of a bigger group, we have our own unique values within that, okay. So like I said right at the beginning, what's important here for us at Regent, and I think should be important in any school, is the people, okay. Particularly if you do live in Dubai, okay, if you're seeing Dubai, there's lots of fancy stuff here, shiny buildings, lots of bells and whistles, lots of things that you think, oh man, that's amazing, okay. But sometimes when you go inside those shiny buildings, whether that is a hotel, a school, or any kind of business and stuff, it's actually, what's inside isn't reflective of what it actually looks like. Now here at Regent, it's very much what happens inside the school is what makes us, okay, and what makes those children going forward. So those values for us are so important in terms of what happens day to day. And you'll see from myself to all of my team, teachers and leaders, on the corridors, speaking to parents, drop off, pick up during the day. Those conversations, those communications are so important, because outside of the academics, okay, if we want our children to be successful and get those top grades, then it has to start with the well-being of the child. And here at Regent, we look at that really, really importantly. There's a transition here in Dubai where people are coming and going from country to country. Every year we have new students, so making sure that that transition, that support, that new children, but also new families, parents as well, in terms of having support from our parents committee, in terms of making feel that they are settled into the environment here, but also settled into the school and what it looks like, is so important. So if the well-being's right, then ultimately the child is going to be more successful at school. I had just to share with you, I had a a tour a couple of weeks ago, and the child is now with us, you know, and she was really excited about joining the school here. But one of the things, you know, I asked her, I said, you know, is there anything you're worried about starting on the first day? And I expected to say, I'm worried about meeting the teachers or my homework or whatever that might look like. And what she said to me was, I'm worried about who I'm going to sit next to on the first day. And to me, that really sort of resonated in my mind to say that it's so important to get that experience right, okay? Making sure the well-being is looked after for your children, okay, for the children here at Regent, so that when they wake up in the morning, they are excited to come to school. They are then inspired by the teachers here to get the best out of them, and also they feel comfortable, they feel safe, supported in an environment surrounded by their friends and peers. And then with that in mind, they are going to be more successful academically because they're comfortable with that. So that well-being, and you saw in the video that showed at the beginning, you know, we are a positive education school in terms of those values that sort of resonate with us here, and it's just not words, it's what we see day to day. It's those behaviours of the teachers, the staff, our parents, our children, to really get the best out of our children here, so they make that outstanding progress that we would want. But not just outstanding progress academically, but them as a young man eventually and a young lady, to ensure that they have those skills to be able to do that. So those values, those visions, it's not just words, it's about what we actually do and behave on a day-to-day basis. And I touched on the teaching and leadership side of things. Here at Regent, okay, all of our teachers are British and leaders are British or Western trained. We have a variety of different subjects here, but the professional training and the professional development for our team is not just getting the right people in, okay, and getting the right people to be in the right seats or in the right year groups or teaching the right subjects, but it's also making sure that we as a school, we continue that journey really, that journey with them in terms of their continual professional development. So just to share with you, you know, some of our focuses this year and going into next year, we've got a real big push on our STEAM approach here, which looks at a variety of different elements to the curriculum, but being taught and getting the kids to think in a different way. And that thinking, looking at things, the skills as well as the knowledge is so important as part of that. And getting the right team of people, you know, and one of my roles is to interview and recruit people coming into the school, but getting the right people that are going to be here, and also going to be here with the right attitude and the right mindset that fits in with what the philosophy we have here at Regent. But equally to try and make sure that they maintain here, they stay with us. One of the challenges in Dubai is that movement, not just of families, but also of teachers. And I'm really proud to be saying that the retention here at Regent is for next year, for example, we have over 90% of our staff staying. It's been a challenging couple of years with COVID. Some of our staff who are leaving us to go back to their families in the UK or around the world, etc. But everybody else who's staying, okay, is staying for the right reasons. They can see their career developing here with us at Regent, okay, and they're not just coming in as a regular teacher. They're coming in here with the opportunity to actually continue to build their own teaching and pedagogical practices, but also their leadership practices. And our succession planning and talent recognition for our staff is high on the agenda here, to continue that motivation side of things. So we're continually looking at different things. We're continuing doing research and development projects here within the school to look at how we can continue to think differently, be different, as the world in itself continues to change. So I'm really proud to have a great and outstanding leadership team here, but equally I'm also, in terms of making sure that I keep those people, is really important. So making sure that journey is in place for them. And I've touched on facilities before, but also beyond the classroom. So what's happening beyond the classroom? So like I said, we want to ensure that the children here at Regent have that solid academic background and that solid things in place, so we're we're obviously looking at that outstanding progress, and I'm really pleased to be able to share with you now that obviously recently from some of our external assessments already this year, despite some of the barriers that we've had in place with COVID and the restrictions we've had, we've had students in school. They've been working together collaboratively, and actually the gap in terms of what's been lost with potentially some online learning over the last 2 years has been closed, and we've actually some of the results that are emerging for us at Regent are outstanding for the end of this academic year. And you'll be able to check on our website some of those results as they get published over the next couple of months. But beyond that, beyond the academics, it's about what else are we doing now here at Regent and part of Fortes. We have several signature programs that we do touch on, and we look at a variety of different things from the performing arts. Obviously everything's built on our Positive Education Ethos, but ultimately there's things that we do in here day to day that the children have opportunities for, and it's not just happening in silos, it's happening collaboratively together. So we've got our performing arts, we've got our STEAM and design thinking that I sort of mentioned earlier in terms of where we're looking at and where we're progressing for the next academic year. We've got things, so we have despite being in the desert, we actually have a forest school initiative here that sort of shapes in from what the children are doing even as early as foundation stage all the way up into secondary school, moving in from a mini Dukes program to Duke of Edinburgh, to looking at the environment and some important concepts there. We have, as the students do move through the school, we have one of our careers rising, so part of making sure the pathway for those children are sorted in the right way, making the right choices at the right time, working with yourself as parents to make those choices. So there's lots of additional things there to sort of support that. And as we move through the school, we've also had opportunities where we get experts from outside of the school. We've had to come and speak to our older students about, okay, what are potential careers? What's the real world actually look like today? Okay, what can they do? What can they get involved in? So we've had our Think and Thrive sessions where we've had guests from Meta to a variety of different platforms that have come in to talk to us, some social media, to give those opportunities to students to say, okay, this is the real world, okay, and this is what ultimately you would need, the skills that you would need to be able to go into these particular fields. So having that exposure and having those opportunities for the students, and also our students themselves actually leading on those things, doing the interviewing of these guests that are coming into school is so important for those skills for them going forward into that real world. Because ultimately they are the future, okay, and our children here today are the leaders of the future. They're going to make a difference, and we want them to make a difference. So how the learning environment we create for them is so important, to give them a safe, supportive one where they can actually ask challenging questions, but at the same time they've got a real clear structure in terms of shaping their own thinking as they move through their own sort of educational journey. So you know, I've covered quite a lot of stuff over the last, I think now almost 25 minutes. I've been talking a lot. People do say I do speak a lot, so I'm doing quite well. And I know there was a couple of questions that did come in. I'm just going to double check some of the things I might not have touched on. I don't know if there is any other questions that come in now I can have a little look at. Then there's one just coming here now, just says, do you teach other languages other English? Okay, so the answer is yes. So actually from year 1 we also teach French, okay, all the way up. We also be offering Spanish from year 7 going upwards. We have, like I showed you earlier, many different nationalities here, and whereas the students do get older, they also have the opportunity to do their home language. Okay, so we have a number of Russian speakers, South African speakers, Hindi speakers that have done additional GCSEs as part of their language. But in terms of the curriculum, we teach, obviously English is, every subject is taught for English, but then there's obviously French that comes in from year 1 all the way up, a bit of Spanish. We also have some native programs that are also offered as an extracurricular option as well as those languages as well. So that's the answer to that language question. I'm looking at some questions that did come in earlier for me. one important thing that was sort of raised a little bit was about this balance, and this has been a challenge for a lot of schools, and about online use of devices, okay, as well as the collaborative sort of face-to-face element. And I feel that we have got it right here at Regent, and where maybe some other schools haven't got that right across the world. Like anything, like a good diet, there has to be a good balance of what we put into our bodies. The same with technology. There's some fantastic things that technology offers us, and we've embraced that here at Regent. We're involved a lot. The students are using a lot of AI technology. We have our own Fortes artificial intelligence platform that the students use to support their learning. We obviously are based, we're sort of a Microsoft Teams school here. We actually use Teams as a sort of a continuum to work through, and there's lots of elements of that we're using, different apps, etc. But at the same time, we haven't lost the fact of actually physically reading a book. I'm not too sure why I picked this one up. It says, "Baby aliens got my teacher," okay? But actually physically reading, okay? Physically picking up a book and actually doing that physical act of reading rather than looking at a screen. And I think no one knows, because of it's been such a short period of time, of where we're going to be in 20 years' time, and what students' impact has been of looking at screens. But here at Regent, we try and make sure, and we work with parents to ensure that there's a good balance about using technology and screens and not. Okay, so that was a great question. And just generally in terms of enrolments that I've talked about, we are, like I said right at the beginning, because of the nature of where we are in Dubai, we're sort of set in the Greens community, a really great location, and a really popular location for school. But and some of our year groups are already full for the next academic year. But I would encourage you, based on what I've said, or hopefully there's a few things that I've said this morning that have resonated with you, but please feel free to connect with us, okay? We're more than happy to set up a personalised tour. I'm more happy to sort of speak to you individually about any questions that might come up. But I think just to go back right to the beginning, think carefully when you're making that choice for your school. And if you can, okay, please visit the school, because whatever schools are saying on their websites, whatever they say, even a principal says on camera, okay, you need to feel it, you need to see it for yourself. And I know if you visit us here at Regent, you will be blown away by what you see and what you feel here. So please come and visit us. It's been a pleasure this morning to speak to you over the net. So have a great day, keep safe, and I look forward to you coming to visit us here at Regent International School.